every long-running horror franchise has that one entry, the one that was so weird, so different, or so darn awful that it nearly sinks the entire series.
That's a wrap.
But some of these so-called franchise killers deserve a second opinion. So today, we're going to reevaluate one of the strangest slasher movies we've ever seen to see whether it's a mess or simply misunderstood. I'm Andrew, and today, we're talking about Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Even though it was a critical darling, the dismal failure of the metafictional film put Freddy Krueger to sleep for a whole other 9 years. But was it the movie's fault, or was 1994 simply just too soon for a postmodern deconstruction of the slasher genre?
This is still a script we're talking about, right, Wes?
We'll get to that in a second, but first, let's take a look at the state of the series. A Nightmare on Elm Street set a new bar for slashers when it premiered all the way back in 1984, breathing life into the then stale genre and bringing in $25 million against its paltry, super small $1.8 million budget. Nightmare saved its failing studio, New Line Cinema, ever heard of it? Leading to its reputation as the house that Freddy built, which means, thanks to the transitive property, you can thank Freddy Krueger for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Wow. Mr. Freddy? Mr. Freddy? New Line wanted to keep the gravy train rolling. They wanted more of those sweet Freddy bucks. But like so many horror auteurs, creator Wes Craven had no intention of making his one film into an entire series. The famous ending, you know, the one where all of Nancy's murdered friends just show up on a bright sunny day and Freddy reverse defenestrates her mother, was a last-minute addition to set up a sequel. Craven sat out for Freddy's Revenge, a really bad nightmare movie, but a masterfully coded queer coming-of-age tale in an era where genre films couldn't really tackle the subject openly. 1987's The Dream Warriors earned $45 million off of a $5 million budget, with Craven returning to write and star Heather Langenkamp reprising her role as Nancy. It was arguably the quality and commercial peak of the franchise.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
And certainly the only entry with its own NES game. And hair metal bop, courtesy of Dokken. Freddy Mania, it was sweeping the nation, leading to Freddy's Nightmares, a spin-off TV show that ran for 2 seasons. And, of course, more movie sequels. Part 4 and 5 saw bigger budgets but diminishing box office returns. The Springwood slasher had been flanderized from a terrifying demon into a wisecracking killer cartoon character.
Bon appetit, bitch!
And while the dream sequences still pretty much slapped, by the time Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare rolled around, the series was starting to get a bit stale. As you can probably gather from the title, Freddy's Dead was supposed to kill Freddy off for good. But with a $35 million box office haul, there was still plenty of life left in the series.
The fans, God bless them, they're clamoring for more.
It just needed a fresh coat of paint, and Wes Craven was the man for the job. Unfortunately, that's where things went wrong. New Nightmare is in kind of a weird spot because not only did Freddy die for good in Part 6, this movie is about how Freddy died for good in Part 6.
I thought you killed Freddy off.
Well, we did, but
The fans.
It stars Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, and Wes Craven as fictionalized versions of themselves in a world where Freddy was apparently more popular than Marvel movies. Could you imagine?
No.
Craven, in an acting tour de force, explains that a demonic presence is haunting his nightmares, breaking through to our reality. And the only way to contain it is to make a new Freddy movie.
Exactly.
He's not doing a bad job. Yeah. This is bad, yeah. Wow. Does it fade to black? Yeah, it does. That's hot. It's kind of like season 7 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, only with less hilarious faux pas and more bloodshed, although not that much more. There are only 4, count them, 4 kills in the entire movie, and 2 of them happen off screen. What the f***? That's kind of the film's biggest problem. It's a clever look at myth-making and movie magic, but as a nightmare movie, it kind of just falls flat. It's just not all that scary unless you find earthquakes and really big 90s cell phones utterly terrifying. Like me.
Hello?
Ha! Freddy himself, Freddy proper, is kind of a non-factor, but if you like little kid actors trying way too hard to be creepy, then buddy, you are in the right place. Much like The Phantom Menace, The Predator, and so many other movies, New Nightmare relies way too much on a child actor who's just not up to the task. He doesn't have the chops anymore. He's wasting all of our time. And even a horror veteran like Miko Hughes, aka Gage from Pet Sematary, can't make staring at a TV and singing a nursery rhyme scary.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Where did you hear that?
When we do see Freddy, or the ancient demon masquerading as him, well, it's a far cry from paranormal pizzas and power gloves. Instead of elaborate prosthetics and unnerving dreamscapes, we get this T-1000 ass, Wolverine Origins ass claw, kills straight up copied from the original, only way less cooler, and a Freddy who shares a skincare routine with Ivan Ooze. Look, I understand that Craven was trying to return Freddy to his more frightening roots and bring him closer to his original horrifying vision, but by 1994, Freddy had evolved, and the wisecracking, potty-mouthed murderer we'd come to love is a completely different character than the more reserved original. It'd be like doing a sequel to Evil Dead where Ash is back to the generic final dude from the original movie. Craven is clearly trying to make an important statement on the dramatic power of storytelling, and I can totally understand if you love this movie. For a lot of fans, it's up there with parts 1 and 3, and it absolutely deserves credit for at least trying to shake things up. It just never really sticks the landing, and for me, there's just not enough nightmare. But hey, what do I know? Let's go to the post-mortem. New Nightmare was shockingly well received by critics. It's 78% fresh on the old tomato meter, only beneath the original with a well-deserved 94. Even Roger Ebert, who notoriously despised everything to do with the slasher genre, was a fan of Craven's clever spin on the formula.
It's a look behind the scenes of Hollywood. It's smart, it's scary, and it's curiously thought-provoking.
It didn't provoke a single thought in my head.
Come.
No.
But sadly, the fans didn't share the love. New Nightmare cost $8 million to make, and it only grossed $19 million, the lowest in the entire franchise. Was it because horror in general was having a bad time?
Welcome to hell. Chuck Norris, Hellbound.
Was the movie just too different for die-hard Freddy fans? Could it be that the fourth wall-smashing story was too similar to Last Action Hero? Or was it simply ahead of its time? 2 years later, Craven would get one more chance to deconstruct the slasher genre he helped create. New Nightmare was basically a beta test for Scream, with one crucial difference. Instead of focusing on rich Hollywood types in their tastefully decorated LA offices, Craven and screenwriter Kevin Williamson used Scream to shine the spotlight on horror fans, instantly making it more relatable, frightening, and most importantly, fun.
Movies don't create psychos, movies make psychos more creative! I'm feeling woozy here!
Freddy is hands down the funniest slasher, but New Nightmare is kind of a joyless slog. Scream has the same self-awareness, but it's not so damn serious about it, and it became a phenomenon that revolutionized and revitalized the entire genre. Freddy had to die, so Scream could live, a trait I would make any day. But was New Nightmare really what killed Freddy? You can argue that Freddy's Dead is the true end of the franchise, but I don't buy it. Need I remind you that Jason returned a mere 2 years after his so-called final chapter, and he also had a weird guided movie in the middle of that. Same with Michael Myers. Halloween bounced back from its weird experimental entry, but Freddy never recovered from New Nightmare. It would be another 9 years before we saw him tear it up again in Freddy vs. Jason, the highest grossing entry for both franchises. But instead of maintaining the momentum, New Line decided it was the perfect time for, you guessed it, a reboot. Jackie Earle Haley was a great choice to step into his sweater, but turning Freddy into an actual child molester made it a lot harder to watch. It still did pretty decently at the box office, but it was kind of lost among the million other Michael Bay produced remakes of that era, and it was never followed with a sequel.
I'm just glad you're safe.
Will we ever see Freddy again? Stupid question, of course we will. There's already another reboot in the works, but it's on pause while New Line focuses on the Conjuring universe instead. Pro tip, just make a shameless ripoff of It Chapter 1. Pennywise and Freddy have pretty much the same MO anyway, and I could easily see Freddy popping out of a projector or bringing Paul Bunyan to life. Today, we look back at New Nightmare as a flawed but forward-thinking film. It had a lot to say about the slasher genre, but at the end of the day, it was simply too much of a departure. Did New Nightmare kill the Freddy franchise? Yes. But out of its bones, a new wave of slasher cinema would rise and bring the genre to new heights that we could only dream of.
There's nothing left of Robert Englund. It's just this cantankerous cuss named Fred Krueger.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching our new show, Franchise Killers. What should we cover next? Halloween 6, Spider-Man 3, Shrek 4? Leave a comment, let me know. Make sure you're checking out Create a Killer on our community tab. Please subscribe to NowThis Nerd, and if you see Freddy, tell him I said, screw your pass.